Today we're talking about the Batman.
The Batman. Not Batman. Not Batman animated series.
Not Batman 89. Not The Batman Begins.
Not Batman Forever.
Literally, the Batman.
Alright, so
I forgot where we left off.
we're going to talk about the greatest actor / person in this, the car.
The car, yeah.
I don't want to call it the Batmobile because this is not the Batmobile. This is the car.
It was damn near close. I mean, that was a good looking, it's a beginning stage Batmobile.
This is what all the Batmobiles have been.
Jet engine on it,
It sounded like a demon was having the worst of its life. That's what it sounded like.
I appreciate that they showed that he got a little jumpy, and so the car kind of stalled out when we first hear it roar, just roar to life.
Yeah.
When he first starts going forward, it kind of stalls out a little bit.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson has the bat stare down very well.
He's good at that.
Because it just stares into your soul, and you're wondering, is he going to beat the out of me or kill me? And Catwoman's probably going to beat the out of me or me, one of the two.
He's good at that smoldering look.
It is frightening, because you want to see a Batman that's scary, and we haven't seen a real scary Batman yet. We haven't seen that, how are the criminals scared of him? Then you see it. Even the cops starting to be, wary, I know he's on our side, but I really don't want to get the beat out
with him.
You start seeing this Batman's relationship with the city.
Yeah.
You see the Batman's relationship with the criminals, even in the opening scene, because we're looking at the darkness to see him walk out, and it's cool. You see the spectrum of people he's up.
Yeah.
And it's 40-year-old Bruce Wayne isn't beating up a child with a spray cape.
No.
He's sitting and he has a conversation with them. You start seeing that, but you see these kids scared that they're tagging, and Batman may come out. I was like, oh, that's not good. that's not a good.
The drop head that was robbing the convenience store just stares into the black. The dudes that were spray painting just stare into the shadow. He doesn't because we established that Jay Lacurga, from Titans, he plays Syndrake. He was one of the people on the train with the train station gang.
Half of his face painted.
The half face painted guy. But Batman doesn't even touch him. He actually, I'm sure he recognizes that when that one dude pulls the gun out, he tries to stop the dude from shooting. But Batman just kind of leaves him be while beating the out of the actual adults who know better.
By beating the hell out of, there's some of those guys probably, they didn't have medical attention died later on. I feel like he's come pretty damn close to killing a few of those criminals. I think he did kill a few of them.
And I appreciate, I like how the beginning of the movie, it starts off with the cops don't trust him. The cops don't want him around.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, by the end of the movie, they might not all trust him. They might not be entirely sure of him. But they realize, okay, this guy is he's helping them bring people out through the roof. He's helping carry people to the medical, to the helicopter evacuation. And, he's working with these cops, carrying people, carrying children to safety.
Well, they realize he's also a good detective, and he knows protocol.
They realize he's actually doing, You just get to see that early relationships start to form where they're actually a little more accepting. By the end of the movie, they're a little more accepting of.
And they also realized that they needed someone like him to get to people they can't get to.
Exactly.
Through the justice system. So they need a guy like him. They need to protect him. That's when you start seeing why Jim Gordon's so torn, because he realizes everything's so corrupt, you can't arrest anybody.
Yeah.
So you need as many good cops as you can. And you see the Gotham PD that Gordon runs in the end, with all of them standing not all of us. Not everybody is happy.
Yeah.
about you running the city. It is cool, but all that to talk about, one of the best scenes is the final sequence in the movie. Is where he literally has to save Gotham.
Yeah.
Like they're all in a stadium. Riddler exploded all the walls that keep Gotham, which is Manhattan Island essentially, afloat.
They filmed because you see, especially when they're showing like the flood, you see the two tigers in front of like the Capitol building or whatever. They're in Chicago.
But Gotham was a name for New York City.
Well, yeah, but also I think Matt Reeves he filmed in because there are some like aerial shots that look a little more like New York and like. Like New York, New York City and all that. But I think he filmed in like 4 or 5 different locations
to build Gotham.
Yeah,
so
to build.
It looked like a city that didn't exist.
It looks like a unique city that's continuous, but at the same time you get elements of other major cities that Gotham.
Well, they based it off New York because even in the comic books they have the Twin Towers. And all that too. The Empire State Building, which would be the Wayne State Building or whatever, which is the Empire State Building. So you get that New York / Chicago gangster feel with it. But literally, you see that Batman, Riddler blew up, the city's flooding, everybody's gonna die. Everybody's in Gotham Stadium. And they have the cult of the Riddler is up on top with hunting rifles.
Ready to just
start killing people. They shoot the mayor-elect, which is
Bella Real.
Bella Real, which is hilarious because she's also the first female mayor of Gotham.
Something like that.
First female / black mayor in this term because she's it's hilarious. Anyways, so the whole stage is set up that Batman lost. And they all see it. He lost. Gotham's just literally underwater.
The Riddler even tries to tell him, tells him, he's like, "You will die trying to stop my final act."
So everything's coming to fruition. Riddler actually won. Actually beat.
Yeah,
the Batman.
For all intents and purposes, Riddler won.
Riddler got his way, but he didn't win because Batman did not succumb. We'll get to that scene in a second because that's the whole ending. But this is beautiful because it's all about him realizing that he f***ed Gotham up completely.
Yeah.
And he needs to save Gotham any way he can. And you're thinking like, oh, they shoot the mayor, and they start picking people off. And then there's an explosion, and it's awesome.
Classic Batman scene.
It is not, but it's cool because it's not just a boom, there's a smoke pellet, and he's out just annihilating dudes. This is like, the most real thing, like a whole entire C4 explosion brings the whole dome down, so he has a fighting chance, and he swings into action essentially,
and then
using his body as a bowling ball.
Yeah, you see him grapple up 2 dudes, jump backwards, and swing, pretty much getting them to be hanging out of nowhere, and he swings onto the Jumbotron where there's a few other dudes, and he's just pummeling these guys.
Well, here's the number one thing I have yet to see. You realize that he actually stopped and studied what was going below him because you realize half of them were hooked to the balcony.
Yeah.
So he's able to throw most of them up and over and just go down. But there's some guys that aren't. And he's literally, when he drops that, all the guys that slide off are all the ones with the high-powered rifles. Everybody else has like 22 rifles. So he's able to do that. And there's that one shotgun guy he thought fell but didn't. And you see that he actually surveyed everything and made a plan. And he would have done great if that shotgun guy had fallen off. So you see his brain working as a detective and a fighter, and he realizes I can't just go around and just kick their asses. I have to do this.
He has to be methodical, especially
very methodical.
They show him when he's hanging from the Jumbotron, and they've kind of got him pinned down. So he straps that little explosive to the fire extinguisher. The smoke and everything. The whatever the fire extinguisher chemicals are, it just goes and sprays everywhere, kind of making like a smoke screen. And then all of a sudden he jumps out of nowhere to the one guy, beats him, pins him down, throws him off, goes to the second dude, swings like a baseball bat with the gun, and just picks him off, like moving methodically, picking him off.
And as soon as the dust goes away, he gets surprised.
Yeah. And then that one dude with the shotgun
hits him, shoots him in the chest. Which you could tell it stopped most of it. Yeah. It's a double-barreled shotgun blast to the chest.
It still took the wind out of him. Like
straight broke his ribs. He couldn't breathe. So when he fell, you see then Catwoman comes out and starts trying her best.
She saves his ass.
Favoring her, and you can tell she is not as strong as a older Catwoman, or as smart as an older Catwoman.
She's versatile and she knows how to move quickly, but you can tell
she's definitely a cat burglar. She's there. It's mostly her stuff is to unarm someone and knock them out quickly. It is not to fight 10 dudes with guns like Batman is.
She's not trying to tumble around and...
Yeah, so she's getting her ass whooped. And Batman takes out the adrenaline shot.
Honestly,
I was so excited to see that.
When it showed up green, I was like, there's no way Venom exists yet. Like, I'm sure we could maybe... I don't really care to see a Bane. I think...
No. I want to see a real Killer Croc in this one.
But I'm saying, when he pulled out the adrenaline shot, and it was like that kind of like lime green like your shirt is.
I thought it was adrenaline shot. I didn't think of Venom.
I realized later that I realized like shortly thereafter that it was just an adrenaline shot. But I'm saying like first look at it, I was like Venom. Like no, too soon for that. Like
I love the fact he even has in his leg he has a little part that he popped up and stabbed himself. I was like, how many times has this dude done this to himself?
And he was just like, oh,
just beating the dude. And these guys are all dressed like Riddlers, so he's just pissed.
Again, it shows the growth of Batman because after he pummels that dude, Gordon pulls off the mask, and I think he asks him like, "Who are you?" or "What are you doing?" Like
he's like, "I'm vengeance."
He's like, "I'm vengeance," and repeats Batman's line right back to him, and Batman's like, "Okay," and he has that nice monologue as he's helping the police bring people out through the roof, where he's like,
the most beautiful movie shots ever made in cinema history. I want someone to paint it, and I want to buy it.
Showing that skyline, the birds.
I want the one where he has the flare.
Oh,
and he's in the water.
He's leading after,
and he's like putting his hands out, and the girl grabs his hand
after he cut the electrical cord.
Because he's a freak. He's got Batman, and he saw people getting electrocuted, and he did something because everybody else was gonna let all those people die, and he realizes
he jumped to it and cut the cord.
I gotta save Gotham, and he drops in, and you're thinking he's done. Nope,
it doesn't hurt that he has an electrically charged suit, so
it doesn't help. It does help that he didn't drown because I was like, he's wearing a lot of heavy. He's about to fall into the water.
And he does, you see that he gets like a little stunned, so he kind of tenses up a little bit as he falls. So yeah, he kind of fell on his back and probably was under the water for a little bit, but of course he's going to get back.
It's Batman, he's saving people.
He gets back up.
He's f***ed up, his suit's clearly f***ed up, he's tired as shit. The only thing that's going is still the adrenaline shot. But the most beautiful moments are him showing humanity. Yeah. That he has to... In order to save Gotham, he needs to be a part of it, and that's where he's starting to see.
He was realizing his fault, and yes, it's about vengeance. He knows and understands that he's still angry about everything that's happened to him, to everybody, to all the misfortune in Gotham.
Yes,
but he realizes he created a monster by being being solely about vengeance. By just going out there and just beating people up rather than being being tactful.
But you also see him realize that he actually is scared to die now.
Yeah,
it's actually a real fear for him to actually die because he realizes Dad wasn't a good person and that in order to change Gotham, he's got to be the best thing he can do. So he now has to live to save Gotham. So we're probably... Let's talk about like the very end scene when Riddler is losing his mind because he realizes Batman actually stopped him from killing the mayor. It is the craziest thing because you hear the voice.
And then a voice just talks to him from the cell next door. Which, from the moment, because it's Barry Keoghan. It was something that's been rumored since before the movie came out, and they delivered, and they revealed that Barry Keoghan will be the Joker. I don't necessarily want to see the Joker in the second movie. I think it's kind of like, especially after the Dark Knight trilogy, and that seems to be kind of how it goes with most Batman movies. Is he always comes in part two.
The Joker and the Clown is like the.
But I'd rather see little bits and I'd rather see.
I want to see Black Mask.
Yeah, I want to see Black Mask.
I want to see more gangster side.
I want to see the introduction of a Robin before I see a Joker on screen. Allude to him, show, maybe let him have, just a walk across in the background, like in Arkham Asylum or something. Keep alluding to, and keep Barry Keoghan as Joker, but Save him for the third movie or something.
Yeah, but who caught him? You think Batman already caught him?
I think Batman probably already caught him.
So you think he's already met the Joker then?
Yeah, because I think it's when he's in the Riddler's apartment, there's all those clips and everything, and you see one, and it got revealed before the movie even came out. It was in like one of the trailers or something like that you see Bruce Wayne. It looks like he's either at the funeral or somewhere because he's in his suit and tie.
Yeah.
And he's looking down. It looks almost like the scene when he's after he gets out of the car and he's pulling out his glasses and everything, his sunglasses and everything. You see behind him like a smile that looks like Barry Keoghan's smile, but in the actual film, we don't ever see that particular perspective that Barry Keoghan is at the funeral or wherever he's being pictured with, like, almost looks like he's stalking like Bruce Wayne. Or stalking who he, like, maybe the Joker knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Because the Joker always kind of like...
The Joker always, I felt like, no, because he's always surprised when they reveal that Bruce is...
That's true. I guess
always felt like he never, but Joker never wants to know who's under the mask.
I guess it's more more the Riddler that eventually finds out.
Yes. It's all the detectives, people that want to know who he is. Joker does never cared. That's the difference.
I don't know where this Joker stands. I don't know if it's maybe a Joker that Batman's already put away, or maybe it's a Joker that's already in Arkham Asylum that Batman hasn't actually come across yet. But clearly the Joker knows about Batman. Like, everybody knows about Batman.
But it's cool to see the interaction, and then you see that Riddler's really not all there, and he starts being even more crazy.
He's unhinging.
He's really unhinged. He's super mad about Batman because you think Riddler knows who Batman is, and you find out he actually doesn't. And you think there's two different people. He's talking about Bruce in a complete... He does such the... Whoever wrote that monologue did such a good job because you thought he was going to reveal...
He connected the dots.
I just love it. He keeps saying Bruce Wayne.
I'm still not entirely convinced that he didn't connect the dots, and he's still toying with Bruce. Like,
I'm not entirely sure he doesn't have multiple personality disorder, and one of them figured it out, and the others don't. And the one that figured it out is mad that Batman won't join him, so he just retreated.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We don't know anything about this Riddler. God, that's what makes it so awesome. We don't know a god thing about this guy.
Paul Dano plays the Riddler so goddamn well.
You don't want to know. I didn't want to know about all the backstory of Ra's al Ghul. Stupid. I just want to see him get caught. Yeah. Batman beat the out of him. Don't care about Catwoman's backstory. We found a little bit. Don't give a guys. Like, I feel like every movie spends so much time to make us feel for this villain. We don't want to feel for him. We want to hate him.
Yeah.
And I hate the Riddler because we don't know a thing. And Batman doesn't care either. He's just like, I caught him. He's in behind there. Yeah. That's it. Now I'm to the next mission.
The most we know is that he was an orphan. He was a financial analyst or whatever.
Which you're like, how does that translate over to him killing all these people with puzzles? It's like, that's what makes it so scary. He's an actual serial killer. Yeah. He's an actual serial killer.
We otherwise know jack shit about him, and it's fantastic.
Because he's a serial killer. You don't give a you just want him in behind bars, which makes it amazing. So Batman put him there. And
now he's probably going to link up with the
Joker. So he's creating... So Batman literally is creating supervillains. Because he doesn't care, which is awesome. That's why I'm like, this is the story of how Batman has supervillains.
I kind of appreciate how this is more... Because everybody knows the backstory and the origin of Batman. We don't need that. I appreciate more that this was almost like creating his own rogue gallery.
Yeah. This is exactly right.
You get a little taste of Catwoman. We get as much backstory about her as we really need. Carmine Falcone's her father. She was a jewel thief. Her and Batman are clearly like star-crossed lovers. Carmine Falcone, you get backstory on him. He is the criminal underworld. He ended up turning rat on Salvatore Maroni. And it alludes to that he killed the Waynes because they were gonna turn him into the cops for killing the writer. You get little to no backstory on the Riddler. Like, these are just...
I still don't know exactly what his deal... Even okay, they try to go, oh well, he's part of the orphanage, and he kind of alludes, but it's just anger, and you're just like,
yeah, he was angry because
you're poor. He's literally mad because he's broke.
He's mad.
He was mad he was an orphan, and Bruce Wayne doesn't understand what an orphan is.
That's a little oversimplification, but yes, essentially. But he's been f***ed by a system that's clearly corrupt, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Well, I say that what sparked it was, remember, he goes, "Oh, and the orphan boy, you're not an orphan when you have money."
Yeah, when you live looking over Park Row or Park something.
Yeah, and he was mad because he's like, everybody forgot about the orphanage when Thomas Wayne died, but
and they all focused on the orphan.
But Bruce it's still technically his fault because he still could have stopped a lot of what went on even as a kid if he just was Bruce Wayne, and he just can't do it.
Bruce Wayne died when he turned 10. Yeah. Bruce Wayne died on Halloween of his 10th year.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne is dead. It's this Batman, and he doesn't. It's so crazy because he doesn't care, and you get to see that in his acting, in his eyes, and his demeanor, and like even when Alfred was in the hospital, like it's all about. He's always very selfish. Yeah. He's very much like, I'm doing this, and then he's starting to realize like,
because Batman's always been a selfish human being.
But he's selfish for the mission, and the mission is to save lives. And then he realizes it's not for his parents.
Yeah,
it's because you find out his mom is crazy, because that's also in the comic books. He's bad crazy. She was bad crazy, and Thomas Wayne did that to protect her and Bruce from the reporters that would have came down and destroyed their entire lives.
I was kind of hoping they'd gone like almost the New 52 route, but instead of it being like Lincoln Marsh being his unknown like half brother or step brother or something like that, be Edward Nashton his unknown half brother. That's just me. That would have been cool. Like that. I'm kind of glad
we still don't know what Riddler's real name is.
That's true. You got Patrick something and then Edward Nashton, which are both other pseudonyms used by Edward Nygma,
aka the Riddler. So we don't even know what he goes by. We don't know, and it's so awesome because I'm like, year 2 Batman wouldn't give a shit. He's just putting criminals behind bars. He's probably not watching the court proceedings or anything. That's his goal is to clean up Gotham. Yep. Until he gets, I think, about year 5 when he starts realizing with Harvey dead and all that, he starts realizing like we gotta actually pursue these.
Yeah, you gotta actually clean.
You can't just because he realizes you cut the head off the snake. He goes a Hydra, it turns into Hydra, more gross. So he's gotta like go down the legal system and all that stuff. So this is really cool that you see that he legitly, the only reason why he cared to catch Riddler because he thought Riddler knew his identity. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, would he have killed him, or would you think he would have just let it happen?
No, I don't think he's there yet. Or I think he's still sticking to the note because he even tells when they go into the orphanage. Gordon pulls his gun. He's like,
no guns.
He's like,
those are your rules.
He's like, no guns. He's like, that's your rule, man.
I love when he just lets it go. He realizes like, okay.
He's not an intentional killing Batman. He like I said earlier. There's and same thing we saw it in Batman vs Superman. You see it in Batman Begins and Dark Knight. Batman has incidental casualties. Yeah. If someone's firing a gun and he grabs the gun and swings the person around, those bullets gotta go somewhere. It's a big probability that it's gonna hit one of the other henchmen that are also firing bullets. So Batman, I don't give a shit what people say, oh, Batman's not a killer. No, Batman's not an intentional killer.
No.
But
he's killed several times.
The people that talk down on BVS because, oh, he killed people. Well, Christian Bale's Batman killed people.
You guys think Bane survived?
George Clooney's Batman killed people. Like, it's not intentional. It was just incidental. Like football, incidental contact. They didn't mean to knock the out of that person, but hey, I'm looking at the ball. You're looking at the ball. We run into each other. Boom. I don't know that that's actually the definition of incidental contact. I'm not a sports person. I enjoy watching it from time to time, so anybody that does watch football, if I got it wrong, sorry. But
But he doesn't go around
He's
advertising he's killing folks.
No.
But he is. He accidentally does it all the time.
Yeah.
You think about all the guys. What if
Straight
you have asthma and he kicks you in the stomach and he then walks off? He doesn't stop to make sure you're alive.
Oh, he's got those nice little razors on his bracers. He cuts you up with one of those.
I love when he throws batarangs in dudes' eye sockets.
Yeah.
Like, older Batman actually doesn't give
No.
which makes him more dangerous.
There's a small grace period between young Batman and old Batman where he actually gave a about people.
So this is like how it is. So you got Robert Pattinson's playing year 1 and 2.
Yes.
Christian Bale's Batman's probably playing like technically year 5 to 10.
He's playing bullshit. That's what he's playing. He's playing bullshit.
That's Batman. Michael Keaton is definitely playing 30s.
Yeah.
Late 30s Batman.
He's another movie where you don't see the dead parents' origin story.
No, it's just there, which is awesome. But that was Tim Burton. So, and then Ben Affleck is 40s. He's a 40-year-old, old, decrepit, I can't do this without help anymore. That's why he has another Robin. And he's an old man.
Yeah.
He's literally having to just annihilate people's bones because he can't chance getting shot.
And that's if all the movies were one universe.
And that's the way you would go.
Different stories of different time periods.
And that's I had to figure out, like, so Matt Reeves had to take something.
Thank God they're not.
And he made a detective Batman movie, which we all have been craving, and put it in a younger Batman, which we haven't had a young Batman, because I'm sorry, Christian Bale did not look like a 24-year-old Batman. He looked like a mid-30s, maybe he could have got away with early 30s Batman.
I mean, his character's supposed to be 20, like late 20s, early 30s.
His character's supposed to be a 25-year-old. Yeah. Because he goes away
Because parents die in 2001. It's 20 years later, and and everybody knows that his parents died when he's 10 years old. So he's at least 30.
I think he's played a younger Batman because he hasn't ventured out of the world. He got his training and stuff from Alfred, so he's got to be.
It just wouldn't make
10 years.
I'm just
15
saying,
years later.
If
maybe
it's
25.
Well, no,
I'm saying he's probably playing a 25-year-old Batman. 25. 30. He's playing a 30-year-old Batman for real?
Yeah, because
he sat in there for 30 years.
Because it's 20 years after his parents died.
Jesus? He didn't travel and didn't do shit. He literally, they said he sat in that mansion with Alfred for 30 years. 20 years.
Yeah. Well, okay, 10 to 20, he's being probably a reckless kid, because he's angry. And then between 20 and 30, Alfred might structure him and like teach him to fight and teach him discipline and and that's where he starts to realize his crusade. Or he might have realized his crusade earlier on and
I think he does it. He becomes the Batman as a kid because he realizes like he has to do all this, but
they also might be bridging, like I was discussing earlier, especially with the way they show that montage before the actual movie kicks off. They might be trying to kind of bridge that age gap, so he might not have started being Batman until he was about 27, 28. So now he's 30, because that's the known thing.
That's what I was saying. Like he played. I'm saying when I say 25-year-old, he started. I'm thinking he's been Batman going on 3. This is his 3rd year as Batman because he already did year 2.
No, this is year 2 because the Notebook even says Project Gotham year 2 October.
Year 2 October.
So it might be the end of year 2.
That's what I thought. It was like the end of beginning of year 3 Batman.
It's the whole movie takes place in a week.
Yes.
From October 31st to November 6th.
Which is like the long Halloween essentially without Joker.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, they're kind of using the long Halloween.
Not without Joker.
Well, he's in the end. But I'm saying Joker's the one doing crazy shit.
It's instead of Riddler doing crazy.
Yeah, that's what he's like.
But yeah, I mean,
Long Halloween's a good one. Especially when Joker's like, I actually didn't do anything. He's getting the beat out of him by Batman.
Because we can still...
I actually didn't do anything.
Because you've also, you think they've got to play to the fact that Robert Pattinson is about mid-30s in real life. Yeah. So they can't make Bruce Wayne too young. So yeah, I mean, he's...
No, I'm saying he started out as Batman right, I think in the 30s he was 25. So 5 years, and then you find out he's been doing it for 5 years in the first book. So that way, then He has that span, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like they've been doing that kind of. You never know how long Michael Keaton's Batman's been Batman either.
No. But I'm saying we only know how long he's been doing it in this one because they explicitly say year 2.
Year 2. Dang,
so that's what I'm saying. He started.
Gordon just let him do some crazy shit and put a signal up for him in 2 years. It's a 2-year span. Damn.
But he might have trained from 18 to 28.
Yeah, probably. He would have to do
because you can't do like 2 months of training and then be like, oh, I'm gonna go beat people's asses.
But you got to think about the design of the suit. Probably has changed.
He had to design. He had to build his car. He had to build his motorcycle. He had to build the goddamn Batcave. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It had to be years. But I feel like. But remember, in the comic books, he's a vigilante for a long time. But he's not the Batman.
He's not the Batman.
He's just a guy doing crazy shit and realizing like he gets the idea from the suit because he can't do everything. I need a suit that puts the fear of God in men.
And that's what I'm saying. The idea of this project might have been between the ages of 20 and 30, but he's only been the Batman and taking on his crusade for 2 years.
So like Jesus, like he knows he's gonna eventually do it. He knows he's gonna eventually he needs Alfred's permission to actually start, probably. Yes. Alfred probably held him back.
Yeah, Alfred wanted to make sure he was trained.
And taught him how to be a detective.
And taught him how to look.
I was gonna say, he's SAS.
So final thoughts, man. What would you rate this movie?
As a 10 out of 10 for me. I know everybody says it's too long, could have cut scenes out. I don't give a because a lot of what they did was it lingered and it made you feel something. It's called...
It gave you that suspense of a true detective movie.
I felt Bruce's pain in every movement he did in that movie, and like it actually broke my heart a lot when you see them part in the motorcycle. Like they're gonna go opposite ways, and you're thinking like maybe she'll like turn, and I like it when he looks in the mirror and they see her,
and they show the big bird's eye, and they're going opposite directions.
It's sad because if he only let somebody in his life. He probably would have given up being Batman and just be a happy billionaire and save Gotham that way. But you don't see that. You see the pain, and he's gonna go down this long ass road. We've all read the comic, we've seen the movies. We all know that it's a painful long path, and you actually get to see and feel the beginning of that painful long path.
But it's there for her to come back, and they'll realize that she'll always be Catwoman, he'll always be Batman, but they still love each other. And it's going to work out in the end.
And you see the father-son relationship between him and Alfred. And it's like a tumultuous relationship.
Hopefully we can get the nice father-son between him and Dick Grayson. Or him and Jason Todd. My boy Jaybird.
I really would like to see my favorite comic book character besides Cap, which is Nightwing, a.k.a. Dick Grayson.
It would be awesome to get.
It would be awesome to see a live action Dick Grayson, and not in a TV show where you have to like rush every freaking little thing.
Although I'm not gonna lie, Brendan Thwaites is good.
He's a great. I want him. I'm thinking they have to.
That would be cool if they brought.
Because you'd have to bring in somebody that's a teenager, like a guy that's not a teenager, 20s.
I was gonna say
because they're gonna probably have to push.
He's actually like in his 30s too.
Yeah, but I'm saying the relationship between him and Dick now in this. They can't do a year 5 Batman. No. They're out there push this. They're going to shove mid-30, mid-career Batman.
Like if they do they're allegedly doing a second movie, and if they do a second movie, they could easily do They could do a couple years later.
Now with the Flashpoint and Paradox coming out with all those, you're gonna be forced to do something no one else is.
They're not gonna do anything before Flashpoint comes out.
No, they gotta see what the hell is going on with that.
They're gonna see what happens with Flashpoint.
See where that fits.
That's where I'm saying like I was talking earlier, we might begins with Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton towards the middle of the movie, and we might get an end of Flashpoint where they do bring in Robert Pattinson, and it could be a few years later after the Batman movie, so it could be year 5 or 6, and he has a young Dick Grayson running around.
I just need to call to Adam West at least one thing, maybe like a newspaper clipping or something. No, I don't know why you hate him so much.
I don't hate Adam West.
Actually, I love Adam West.
When I was a kid, he was like the first live-action Batman that I ever saw. I just think they're goofy and campy.
They're supposed to be. That's their universe they live in.
I know. It was cool and good when I was a kid. Just now as an adult, it's just like It's a bit much.
Bitch, much. You love Spider-Man. He's literally Adam West Batman. It's the dumbest shit ever. He says the stupidest shit. He's a kid. Half the shit he does and says is so cornball.
Love is a strong word. I don't know that I would say I love Spider-Man. But I would give this movie also a 10 out of 10 because it was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
I love detective movies.
I'm sure guys are going to be, someone's going to rip this movie apart.
Oh,
certain things we'll probably agree with. A lot we won't. Someone's going to be like, this is like I 2 and Christian Bale is God. Okay, I don't give a
yeah.
Or my is God, I don't care. Whatever you guys like.
Good.
However, this is its own standalone movie.
Quit being divisive and making you choose which one's the best. They're all good.
This is a great Batman movie. He may not be the best Bruce Wayne because he didn't play Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he was playing.
He's playing Batman.
He was playing. I don't give a Bruce Wayne.
He may not be Ben Affleck ripped to shreds. He may not be as tall as George Clooney. Yeah. He may not be as good as an actor as a Michael Keaton or even a Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer was definitely a good detective Batman.
He was.
They were cheesy riddles, but he was a good detective Batman. He was.
Maybe we'll see a Val Kilmer Batman. Tell
us in the comments what you guys think. Let us know your favorite parts of this movie. We will be doing a future video where we kind of, even though we just said don't pick and choose which one's the best Batman, we are also going to be doing...
No, don't pick the best Batman. We're going to do the best Batman movie because we can tell you that the director and screenwriter are pieces of... A.K.A. Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises was 2 of the worst Batman films ever made. Come find me! Come at me! Come find me!
Batman Begins was good.
Batman Begins was awful.
You're awful.
It was awful.
Either way, tell us in the comments below what you think about this movie. How would you rank this amongst the other theatrical Batman releases, whether it's live action or the ones that released animated theatrically? As we said in the beginning, check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We have a Twitter, but it's a little under the weather because I don't really focus on it that much. Check out any of our videos Tuesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Otherwise, we will see y'all next time in the basement. See y'all.
See you guys later.
Hey.